All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm Blitz5 and hope you guys are doing well. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the patch notes for update 24.1. The major takeaway from this update is that the tactical gear in PUBG has been completely reworked. Most of the items have been nerfed, and now the system has been changed to where each player will have this as a dedicated inventory slot where you select which item you want for the entire duration of the game. And there's a lot of questions about this. Again, typical PUBG fashion, it's a little convoluted, a little confusing. So I'm going to hopefully answer all those questions that you guys have. And if you have more, you can put them down in the comments below. And then you also might see here in this picture that we're now going to have the ability to pick up and take off and put on tires, as you can see in the screenshot of this video. This is a good 2-minute video provided by PUBG, but they don't go into all the details, which is why I'm making this video here. Every time the server goes live, I'm streaming it on my channel. We test out all the stuff. Today we did that again, and a big shout out to my buddy Jinky, aka Burn Suave, for helping me test this stuff out in game. This will be going live next week on June 14th for PC and June 22nd for console. And then we have the map rotation here going on. You guys could take a look at that. Again, I like to remember the map rotation because one of the rotations has Miramar and Karkin on it and Vikendi, so it's desert and ice. Erangel and Sanhok are always standard now in all the rotations. So you got desert and ice in the first week, and then the second week is all the green maps, Tego, Destin, and Bramo. That's just how I remember it. I don't know if that helps you guys. Take it or leave it. And then here is an image of what the new tactical gear looks like. So if you played the intense battle royale mode, when you drop into the game, it's like a shorter version of the game. You might be familiar with this because when you land, you start with a bunch of different boxes, an AR box, a sniper box. You open that box and you get a random AR, random sniper, SMG, and so on and so forth. Now with this box, once you land, you can choose when you do this. So if you hot drop, you don't have to open the box right away. But say you land safely, you get down to the ground, 3-second box opening, then you can pick which item you are going to use for the remainder of the game. You can't drop it. You can't pick up somebody else's kit. It's locked to your character. And if you die and get recalled later, this tactical gear is going away and you won't have one. So kind of one of the opposite of a benefit, one of the downsides of dying here is that you no longer have a tactical gear scope. So there's a lot of information here that you guys could look through. I'm going to try to just give you the gist of things without having to go line by line. And I think one of the first things we want to talk about is the EMT gear, because that was one of the most OP things. And this is changing pretty heavily. So if you're worried about this, all this stuff got nerfed pretty hard, but there are some weird things, like everybody could technically now have a blue chip detector, which is kind of odd in my opinion. So the EMT gear, they're trying to focus on making this more of a teammate thing instead of being able just to revive yourself really quickly with 3-second first aids. So now the timing of this stuff has changed. The med kit, I'm going to zoom in here for you guys. The med kit now takes 7 seconds. The first aid now takes 5. And this stuff can only be used on a teammate now. So you can't get that advantage on yourself, which was super OP. You could just be in 1v1 fight, constantly healing back to 100% in like 3 seconds, whatever it was. To me, completely unfair. And then also they've reverted the revival speed of teammates from 3 to 8 seconds, which I think is fair too. This thing was way OP, healing yourself, reviving people so fast, completely unbalanced in nature, really. And then the only solo benefit for yourself, if you're in solos, would be the ability that energy drinks and painkillers now provide a 50% boost effect. So 2 painkillers or 2 energy drinks gives you 100% boost. So big drop off there, but definitely still worth it to have on a team and definitely in solos for sure. And then we have the blue chip detector. We're going to go bottom row first because I feel like these are the more powerful ones. The blue chip detector has been nerfed slightly to where now it scans every 8 seconds, and the radius, this is kind of the bigger nerf. The radius has been nerfed to 50 meters. The reason why the scan frequency isn't as big of a deal is because the first time you pulled that up, it scans, which I think PUBG should change, right? It would be awesome and really balanced if you pulled it up and had to sit in your screen for 8 seconds and wait, right? Like a first aid kit. But instead, if you haven't used it, you just pull up to a compound, boom, immediate scan, you know somebody's in there. It's only 50 meters, so this is not that effective. If I have the footage here, my buddy Jinky was standing pretty close to me, and that was just at 50 meters, and it didn't pop up on the screen. but a lot of compounds are smaller or the size of about 50 meters. So if you pull up to the wall of a compound, now you can detect them. And again, everyone is going to have the ability to spawn in with this. So then the first thing you're thinking is like, this completely ruins solos. This is way overpowered. But one of the kind of balancing schemes here is that if you have a jammer bag, you won't appear on the blue chip detector. And now PUBG is including the jammer bag on every single map. So this is making the jammer bag extremely effective, extremely important. I mean, now you could argue that the jammer bag is more important to have than a level 3 bag because of the ability to deny something like the blue chip detector. Again, to me, this might be a good idea. This is basically PUBG putting in roles into the game, and you're going to have to think about counters and stuff like that. The downside is PUBG is making more counters, more objects, more things that are similar to Call of Duty. I think a lot of us love PUBG because we didn't have to worry about thermoscopes, heartbeat sensors, blue chip detectors, all that stuff, so on and so forth. But on the positive side, it's making more elements to the game to play, more things for people that might not be lasers to be able to play, less frustrating moments when you're just trying to play solos and you can't even go into a compound because there's someone hiding in every single bathroom. So this could be beneficial for that nature. And if you're truly a hardcore player, then just go play ranked. It's a great experience. A lot of the new features are in ranked, so it's not like you're playing some completely outdated version of the game. I think that's what PUBG might be going for because they mentioned to the partners a while ago that they wanted more people to play ranked. So this could be the reason why they're doing this. They're saying, hey, let's just send it to the regular version of the game. And, if people want that old school PUBG to some extent, it doesn't exist anymore, but you could go play ranked. But, we'll see. Then we have the all-in-one repair kit. Sorry, there's a lot to go through here, so I'm trying to speak kind of a little bit faster. The all-in-one repair kit, if you remember on Vikendi, PUBG put in the repair kits for your armor, your chest, and for the vehicle, 3 different items, which I thought was very messy to begin with. So they've merged them all and made this into an all-in-one repair kit. So you have 10 uses throughout the entire game that you can use on your helmet, your vest, or on a car. And I think you can actually repair other people's gear as well. Let me try and find this. Here is the tactical gear, EMT gear, tac pack, blue chip detector. Where is the repair kit? Of course, I can't find this as we're streaming. But okay, I'm pretty sure you can do this on other people's stuff as well. With this, you can also remove the tires. So that might be in the tire update below this stuff. Here we go. Tactical gear, repair kit. So this is kind of a whole nother thing. Let's come back to this, I guess, because this is a whole new feature with removing the tires. Let's go back. We'll get into that basically. It's still pretty powerful without the tires. To be able to fix 10 helmets, for example, is going to be huge, especially in the late game when you can't get new gear. If we go back to the spotter scope, this has been kind of nerfed back to where it originally was. You can actually spot people and keep it up. Again, I wish this wasn't in the game, so I feel like they could just take it out. I don't want people to be tracked on my screen. That's not PUBG to me. I can go really far. I like revives. I can take a lot of new things. Spotter scope to me is a giant L, in my opinion. Should not be in the game, but it will have more value now. The drone, all they've done to kind of nerf it was they reduced the distance from 300 meters to 200 meters. And now this works in the blue. So does the EMT bag, by the way. So these items can all work in the blue. Now you don't have to worry about that. But what's crazy about the drone is, say you're playing on Destin and you're a solo and you want to get those security cards that are hidden in the crates that are in the sky that you have to get a drone in. You can't get access to those unless you take this drone tablet. So then it kind of makes all the other ones not useless, but you want that. Some people are going to be like, hey, I'm not even going to take the drone tablet. And then if you're in a squad, you basically need somebody to take that drone tablet if you want to have access to the key cards. So then this kind of has a thing like if you're playing with randoms, no one has the drone tablet, and then you got some like sweat squad where they have everything all planned out. They're getting security keys. They're blue chipping you, all this stuff. To me, it could definitely change the balance there a little bit, but we'll see how it plays out. And then you have the tactical pack, which used to be able to carry 4 separate items. You could, carry 4 panzers. You could carry 4 weapons. You could carry 4 extra vests or whatever, 4 M249s. Now you can only carry 2 separate items. And we didn't test this one either because you can only load in with one thing at a time. So I tested like 4 out of the 6 of these. My buddy tested out the other ones. I forget. I don't think actually either of us did the tac pack. So something to check out for later. But it seems like the strongest ones to me are the bottom row. Like if you're in a solo match or something like that, you'd probably pick the bottom row first. And then the top row is more for if you're in a team. In the drone tablet, obviously, if you end up playing on a map like Destin and you want to access those key cards. So that's a lot there. But then there's a little bit more to this update. Then everything after this is kind of just like bonus PUBG stuff, some quality of life improvements, and then things like that, and some small changes. So the tactical gear thing, like I told you, or the repair kit, is those 3 repair things in one, which is pretty cool. A single use will restore the durability to 100. So yeah, even if your helmet or vest is cracked, it will go all the way back up to 100. It only restores 500 durability on a vehicle, so it won't go back to 100 on a BRDM. This only repairs it 20%. So if the burden is at 20%, it will only go to 40%. And then it looks like you can do it on a teammate. If I'm looking at this properly, you can also do it potentially on a helmet or vest that's on the ground right here. So teammate or a helmet lying on the ground, which is interesting. That's pretty cool. And then one of the crazy features here is that you can use this to replace tires. So you can't use this to fix a tire, but you can replace the tire. So hear me out on this, all right? If you shoot the tire and it explodes, you can't just sit there and make a tire appear out of nowhere. But what you can do is you can go up to vehicles with perfect health and you can take their tires now. So you can hold them in your inventory. You can hold one in your pan slot, or you can hold it in your inventory. They take up 20 capacity. So that's like double a first aid. Or you could take tires and put them in your trunk of your car that has a trunk. So for example, you're in a Zima right here. You're in this green Zima, let's say. You pass by a Dacia. You could take off all 4 tires off the Dacia, which is hilarious. I think it takes 3 seconds to take the tire off. Put them in the trunk. And then if you're driving around and you lose a tire, you could pull over, get the tire out of the trunk, and literally put it on the Zima in another 3 seconds, which is hilarious. Just not something I expected to be doing in PUBG in 2023. And then with this, there becomes a lot of different like things you need to know and situations. It was a little confusing at first. And I feel like this could create a weird meta that people weren't really asking for in PUBG. People just wanted a way to kind of fix your tire. I know PUBG is trying to be realistic here, but some weird things happen. So one of those weird things is that anybody can put on the tire, but only the person with the gear can take it off, which that actually isn't weird. What is weird though, is that you can take off all your tires, put them on the ground, and then once they're on the ground, you can't pop them. So it's like just seeing a weapon on the ground. You can drive over them. They're not going to block you driving like a mortar or anything like that. You could drive right over them. So technically you could pull up to a compound, hide the vehicle, take all the tires off, put them on the ground, and the enemy team could just be shooting at those tires all day long. Nothing happens. You pick them back up, put them on your vehicle, and drive away. So then in this case, the only thing you'd have to worry about is your vehicle blowing up. And as long as it was kind of out of cover, or you kept repairing it and stopping it from being blown up, then you guys pretty much would guarantee safe travels out of that compound. So there could be a thing where people are now taking tires off their vehicles. Like I said, you could drive around and you could still shoot tires off vehicles, or you could steal them. It does create this kind of whole separate dynamic, and I'm sure there's things I'm not even thinking about. So I think part of this is good, because you want to be able to fix your tires so you can keep playing. If you lose a vehicle in PUBG, sometimes that just ruins your game completely. So if you're thinking about stuff and you care about that stuff, you can avoid that from happening. But again, I feel like people are worried that some of this stuff is great. Other parts are taking away from what we love about PUBG. And at a certain point, when is this going to turn into like a Call of Duty type thing? I don't know if this features in any other Battle Royale. I don't play the other games anymore at this point. I've never personally seen this. So it is pretty original and kind of genius. But, that's up for you guys to decide. And I guess I would love to hear what you guys think down in the comments below. And then now we'll just move on to some of the bonus things. I think I've covered a lot of what kind of changed here after testing. It took a long while to kind of try and get that into a digestible bit there to explain to everybody. Now, for all the maps, I think I mentioned this, the jammer pack is on all the maps, but on top of that, we now have the pickup on all maps, the blue zone nade on all maps, the mortar on all maps, and the Panzerfaust on all maps. So the biggest three things for me here are the pickup, jammer pack, and Panzerfaust on every single map, and they're going to be in ranked mode. So it's a little weird seeing the Panzer on every single map. I think we're kind of used to it now, but it is so overpowered to take out a vehicle. I mean, one Panzer shot just blows up a vehicle or a Birdem. So that could be, interesting. The pickup, I think people are used to it now. It's already in rank, so that makes sense. And the jammer bag and blue zone grenade are people are used to as well. So I think this is totally fine. It looks like they've also reduced the spawn rate of the emergency pickup, which I think makes sense too. If there was ever a way for them to just make that spawn more in the outer part of the map, that'd be really cool, or more often there at least. Then Vikendi's getting some well-needed or much-needed terrain increase here to help kind of provide some cover. They're providing more hay bales, more kind of differential in the in the terrain, excuse me, more ridges and stuff like that. As we know, I knew this was going to happen since day one, which is, to me, kind of confused why the map launched like this, because this is exactly what happened with Tego. They dropped the map. Tego is like one of those maps still kind of is. If you don't have a vehicle on Tego, you're absolutely screwed. Vikendi is the same way. And then you land in these areas that are completely flat and there's just no cover. And now they're finally fixing it. But Tego is the same way. They went back and fixed it. It plays much better now. So I'm not sure how they didn't kind of learn from their mistake there. But it is a big map. I'm sure it's very hard to develop such a large map and kind of cover every little spot and make sure that it plays perfectly. It's not like a small TDM map in Call of Duty where you can test out all the different angles pretty easily, or not easily, but you know what I mean? So I get it, but a little confused. Then here, making some changes to the thermal scope. Thermal scope is going to only be available in the care packages and the caves now. On Vikendi, secret room, the acquisition of self AED is now restricted to secret rooms, except for the rare chance of looting one in its world spawn item. I don't know if this is just for Vikendi. I think it is. I think AEDs should be way more rare or taken out of the game personally. And I think my buddy was saying that the bears were coming to rank now as well, or because Vikendi is going to be in rank. That's what it is, I think. I think we can kind of move on from here. Going down, they've increased the vehicle spawns on Vikendi, which is needed. The blizzard zones have been increased, so you're going to see way more of them, which I was excited for this at first, but now it might be a little gimmicky as well. But we'll have to just wait and see until we play it. Anything's better than the red zone. I like chaos, so I'm excited for this. When I played on the test server, we ran into a couple of the blizzard zones since Vikendi went live. I've only gone into the blizzard zone a few times ever on accident. So that's good. The cable car now goes a lot faster, so people maybe have a better chance of using them to actually get somewhere. Again, it turns out that players just don't end up using those kind of things in game unless you're kind of trolling or just having fun. People don't on average kind of go to those spots to really use them, that and the train, for whatever reason. And then PUBG's kind of increasing or modifying the crowbar interaction on Vikendi, where you can open up those secret rooms and secret cabinets. They've also added in like a separate box that have an extra crowbar, it looks like here. Storage unit has a high probability of containing a crowbar. So you can get in there and kind of access those things. And yeah, new rank season. Obviously, every time there's a new full-on update, new season, I should say, the rank thing flips over. There's always 2 updates per season. The 24.1, then there will be 24.2, and then we'll be on to 25. There you go. And then we have a new Survivor Pass, Splash Royale. Here's kind of one of the pictures for it. I have a video up on my channel now going over all the items. Some cool stuff. I actually kind of like this theme. Some of it. I like the style of it, not all of the outfits, I'll say. This back right one is actually really cool. Some of the stuff included, some of the gun skins were pretty cool as well. And I think that's about it. There's also a leak that PUBG is going to be bringing in kind of like a progressive smoke launcher into the game. PUBG previously put in the progressive smoke grenades where you could do, orange, purple, teal, and now you'll be able to have a similar kind of effect for these smoke launchers. That was leaked though, nothing fully announced yet. That should be coming into the game, and we'll see what will be available in the store once that goes live, there will probably be some kind of June store update at some point, because on the test server, they don't update the store. So definitely check out those videos. And I hope you guys are still kind of digging PUBG. I think this is a big year for PUBG. I've been pretty stoked about all this stuff, but I know this patch is going to make people feel a little strange about what's going on. Wait to play it. I mean, obviously you give your feedback and how you feel in the chat or comments below or on social media, but ultimately, you know, wait to play it. And if you haven't played PUBG, you probably didn't make it this far to the video, but give it a try and see what you think of all the new stuff. And as always, thank you all for watching. I'm Butts5, and peace out.